Bury a piece of wood and a strip of copper in the same hole and get a better harvest than ever before. Water it once, then walk away. And here's the part that sounds almost impossible. You've just built a small underground system that stores water, feeds microbes, and generates a weak electrical current around the roots. Not with a battery, not with a machine, not with any expensive gardening product, just wood, moisture, microbes, carbon, and metal. Before you dismiss this as just another internet gardening trick, listen closely. It could also lead to a more bountiful harvest in your vegetable garden. Parts of this already exist in science. Microbial fuel cells use bacteria and organic material to produce tiny electrical currents. Biochar can hold water, nutrients, microbes, and even influence conductivity. And roots are not passive straws. They grow in a charged living environment. So the real question is not whether soil can be active. The real question is, how much are we interrupting something that already wants to work? Within a few weeks, the wood starts pulling moisture out of the soil, swelling like a sponge and holding water in place, even when the surface above is already bone dry. Bacteria swarm the rotting wood and release electrons as they do it. Tiny electrical currents directly in the soil around your plants. The copper reacts with moisture, minerals, and other substances in the ground and can create a weak but steady voltage. Roots grow into that zone. Bound up nutrients become more mobile. The minerals that were previously locked in the soil can become reachable. And the whole thing keeps running quietly. Invisible. Year after year. No battery. No power cable. No fertilizer plan. Nothing to refill. Nothing you have to buy again every season. And that is exactly why one uncomfortable question comes up. If something like this works, why do you almost never see it anywhere? Why are we told every year that soil needs constant fixing? Hold that question. Because by the end, this will not look like a trick. It will look like a different way to understand soil. This video is about three things: rotting wood, biochar, and electrical activity in the soil. On their own, they are interesting. Together, they change the way you think about gardening. And this is where the story begins. A gardener has a problem. The soil dries out too fast. Plants collapse in the heat. The neighbors solve it the way they always do. More watering, more fertilizer, more buying, more work. He does something different. He digs a trench, puts old branches inside, a few pieces of rotten wood, leaves, compost, soil on top. Then he plants like normal. At first, it looks almost disappointing. No system, no technology, no app, just wood under soil. But after a few weeks, something strange happens. While the top few inches of soil look dry, deeper down it stays moist. The plants look more stable, they droop less. They need water less often. And in the second year, the difference becomes obvious. The wood has soaked itself full. Fungi have grown through it. Worms have moved in. The soil is looser, darker, more alive. And all of that without a single bag of specialty fertilizer. That is the first mechanism. Wood is a water reservoir. A buried log works like an underground sponge. When it rains, it absorbs water. During dry periods, it slowly releases it again. This is not mysticism, this is physics. Porous material absorbs water. Dry soil pulls that water back out. Roots follow moisture, but the wood is not feeding the plant like a quick fertilizer. It is changing the environment around the plant. It is making the soil slower, cooler, wetter, and more stable. And in a dry garden, stability is often more valuable than speed. But that is only the surface. Underground, more is happening. When wood rots, it does not simply become less. It transforms. Fungi open the fibers. Bacteria break down organic matter. Worms move through the soil. A dead piece of wood becomes a habitat. Because a garden is not only where plants grow, it is where invisible workers either have a home or they do not. That is the second mechanism. Healthy soil does not become strong through nutrients alone. It becomes strong through organisms. Plants do not live on fertilizer alone. Microbes release nutrients. Fungi connect root zones. Bacteria transform organic material. The more stable organic material there is in the soil, the more life it can support. That is why some old gardening methods work so well, even though they look simple. They do not buy fertility, they grow it. And now it gets interesting, because rotting wood can do something else almost nobody talks about. Under the right conditions, it creates electrical activity. Microbes release electrons as they break down organic matter. Research uses this principle in microbial fuel cells, where soil, water, organic material, and bacteria create tiny currents. This is where most people lose the plot because electricity in soil sounds like science fiction, but it is not. Not sparks, not wires. More like tiny movements of charge in a wet, living, mineral-rich system. For plants, this is not science fiction. Roots grow in an electrochemical space. Every nutrient in the soil has a charge. Potassium, calcium, magnesium, ammonium. All of these ions react to moisture, pH, microbes, electrical charges, and chemical bonds. Soil is not dead powder. It is an electrochemical network. And this is exactly where biochar comes in. Biochar is wood charred with limited oxygen. Under a microscope, it is a network of pores and surfaces. That surface acts like a storage site for water, microbes, nutrients, and charge. Fresh biochar should never just be thrown dry into the soil. At first, it can bind nutrients and slow plants down. You have to charge it with compost or organic material. Then the pores become colonized and filled. Empty charcoal becomes a living sponge. Once it sits in the bed, something important happens. Nutrients wash out less easily. Water stays available longer. Microbes get housing, and the soil becomes more conductive. Biochar is not just charcoal in the garden. Used badly, it disappoints. Used well, it becomes infrastructure. An underground apartment complex for water, microbes, nutrients, and charge. That is the third mechanism. Do not just add fertilizer and hope the plants find it fast enough. Build a structure that holds nutrients until roots need them. Now, only the smallest but most provocative part is missing: metal. When you put copper and zinc into moist soil, a weak galvanic reaction can form under the right conditions. Two different metals, a wet medium full of dissolved minerals, and a tiny voltage can appear. This doesn't turn your garden into a power plant, but it does mean this: soil is more electrically active than most people believe, and plants can sense these signals. Roots can respond to electric fields. Ions can be mobilized. Microprocesses in the root zone can change. That is why some gardeners report stronger growth, deeper roots, or more vigorous plants with simple copper-zinc systems. But hear this clearly. This is not about shocking soil into productivity. It is about working inside a system that is already chemical, biological, and electrical. But more metal is not better. Too much copper damages soil life. Too much zinc stresses plants. So test small. One piece of copper, one galvanized nail. Not everywhere, not blindly. The goal is not to fill the soil with metal. The goal is to create a weak, controlled electrochemical signal in living soil. And now comes the real idea. These three things reinforce each other. The wood stores water and feeds microbes. The biochar holds nutrients, water, and microbes in place. The copper-zinc pair creates a tiny voltage in the moist, more conductive soil. The wood keeps the area moist. The moisture keeps the reaction active. The biochar improves conductivity. The microbes make the soil alive. And suddenly, it is no longer a single trick doing the work. It is a system. Maybe this feels strange because we are used to thinking in products. Buy fertilizer, buy irrigation, buy soil improver, buy another solution. But this works differently. It asks a better question. What if the soil does not need more inputs first? What if it needs better conditions? Water, carbon, shelter, microbes, a small mineral reaction. A place where roots can enter and stay. Because the most powerful part of this system is not the copper. It is not the wood. It is not even the biochar. It is realizing that soil is not something you force. It is something you set up and then leave alone.